Fear crawled beneath your skin, rupturing your veins. You couldn't move. You couldn't speak. The rhythm of your heart infiltrated your eardrums, plaguing the silence that lingered. It beat vociferously, unyielding. That thing behind you could hear it. You knew it could. An unsteady breath surged through your lungs as you turned around. Your movements were slow, hesitant, reluctant. Your gaze darted towards the shadows. It was watching you, piercing your eyes with its zoot orbs. Your expression made it grin, razor-sharp teeth revealing beneath its onyx lips. Every limb in your body froze, becoming paralyzed. You were in shock. For 2 years, you had convinced yourself Jeff adorned the most abhorrent of features, but now you knew you had been wrong. He barely compared to this thing. This creature's appearance was horrifying. The minutes ticked by as you stood there, observing it. Strands of black, straggly hair hung over its face, disguising its features. Its silhouette was tall, taller than Jeff's. From a rough estimate, you guessed it stood at around 6'4". It was definitely male. Protruding from the center of his face was a swirling monochrome cone. It almost resembled a replacement for his nose, or maybe that's because it was his nose. You gasped, your jittery fingers clasping over your mouth. All around the mulberry bush, the monkey chased the weasel. The monkey thought 'twas a lot fun. It was singing a haunting melody, a melody that once belonged to a familiar childhood song. 1 step, 2 steps. It was coming closer and closing the distance, stalking you. The lights from the street shone into your bedroom, illuminating the stranger. His clothing was old, rugged. The patched overall that covered his lean body descended into striped arms and leg warmers, his feet covered by colored boots that were inching nearer to you. "What do you want?" You spat, animosity clear in your tone. The dark-haired male's head cocked to the side. He was laughing. He was getting louder. He was hysterical. He was delusional. "So, it seems the dolly has a voice." His eyes darkened as he pointed a claw-like finger towards the door. "The game is simple, Dolly. Open that door in the next 10 seconds, and I'll let you go. If you pass those 10 seconds... His voice trailed into a whisper, his threat unknown. In one swift movement, you turned towards the door and rattled the handle. It wouldn't budge. He was messing with you. This was all just a twisted game to him. Your fist banged on the wood desperately. You were not going to lose. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pop goes the weasel. Bang! You were knocked backwards as the door flew off its hinges, gliding across the floor. Your arms dropped to your sides, your mouth ajar. Stood in the doorway was an infuriated Jeff. His fists were bruised, his knuckles smeared in blood. His muscles were strained, the veins in his neck almost bulging in anger, as he outstretched an arm and grasped a hold of your t-shirt, yanking you towards him. His glare fixated on the area behind you. "Leave one fucking finger on her, LJ. I dare you," he growled lowly. "Jeff," you uttered incredulously. "What are you?" He scowled, his head snapping towards you. "Shut up. Don't tell me." "Shut up. Just fucking shut up." He could fucking kill me. The breath was knocked out of you as you were slammed backwards, your back colliding with the concrete wall. The force temporarily disabled you as a callous hand gripped your neck, pinning you there. Moments later, Jeff tilted his head forward, his warm breath lingering on your soft skin. His orbs were dilated, frenzied. He looked insane. "Don't you think I know that?" His tone was quite dark. He was not in the mood for a dispute, for bickering with you. He was serious this time. You think I would let him hurt you? I would kill any motherfucker that even tried. He exhaled loudly, unclasping his hand from around your throat before he whispered in your ear. When I say run, you run as fast as your fucking legs allow you. Don't stop until you get to the parking lot. I'll meet you there. No, you mumbled, shaking your head. You didn't want to leave him, nor did you want to go on your own. Jeff glanced over his shoulder. The room was vacant. The ragdoll look-alike had disappeared. Do you want to get out of here in one fucking piece? I need to stall them, and I can't very well do it when I'm trying to look after your ass. Now, listen to me. He snapped, giving you a look that dared you to challenge him, to disobey him. When all he received was a sigh, he smirked in relief. He knew you would listen. He leaned in, his features etching into a distressed expression as he placed a kiss, or what his attempt at a kiss, on your cheek and shoved you towards the door. Now, run! Your heels scruffed against the ground as you sprinted into the living room, your feet moving on their own accord. You strained to listen for any sound behind you, but there were no footfalls following you. He wasn't coming. Your mind was in turmoil as your conscience argued with your senses. You wanted to stop. You wanted to help him, but he told you to run for a reason you weren't sure of, and you didn't want to ignore him. Your eyes darted to the side, skimming the television. Almost on instinct, you skidded to a stop, your stomach convulsing in horror. Arms were reaching out of the screen, blonde hair swaying against the static background. Someone was crawling out of the television. Your limbs shook, the disquiet atmosphere heightening. You lost your mind. Your bare feet edged towards the front door as your head tried to process what was happening. Run! You could hear the voice in your mind remind you. You tore your gaze away from the television and jolted out of the apartment towards the stairwell. Your flimsy hands grasped the railings tightly, your legs frenziedly descending down the stairs 2 at a time. You needed to get out of there. A bolt blew above you, followed by another. The lights that aligned the ceiling were flickering, exploding one after the other. Something was messing with the electricity. You panted desperately as you neared the bottom level, rounding the remainder of the banister and flinging yourself through the fire exit door. A mere fraction of a second later, the last light bulb exploded. Stood there in the darkness was an unfamiliar monster. You'd made it. You lay there. Just lay there, on your back, staring up at the starry night sky. It was harmonious, serene. Your breathing was beginning to even out, becoming calmer and more relaxed. Get up, an ominous voice demanded. You smiled slightly when Jeff's self-inflicted grin appeared before you, the gleam in his eyes shining. You were unharmed, and that's all that mattered to him. He extended his charred hand, gripping yours and his before yanking you to your feet, his hand unclasped from yours, his tall silhouette stalking towards a nearby car. You didn't have a chance to stop him before he thrust his fist into the window, the glass breaking into 1,000 smithereens. Get in the car, he instructed, opening the door. Your eyebrows furrowed in confusion. Wait, what? Did I fucking stutter? You took a step backwards, shaking your head. You can't just steal someone's car. Jeff glowered as he lowered his head, strands of his singed hair falling into his eyes, his menacing eyes that were on the verge of burning lasers through you. Get in the fucking car, he hissed, emphasizing every word. Jeff! Spit it out! You gulped, pointing a finger upwards. There's someone behind you. There's no one there. Jeff derided quietly. His voice, it was so soft, so benevolent. He almost sounded like the old Jeff. The red leaves crunched beneath his combat boots as he took a step towards you, his eyebrows furrowing in distress. Only then did you notice the way he was looking at you. He looked at you as if you were delirious, as if you had lost your mind. How ironic coming from him. You stared at him incredulously before averting your gaze back over his shoulder. That thing was gone, however. It had just evaporated into nothingness, like it'd never been there. You knew you hadn't imagined it, but somehow doubt weighed on your mind. What if you had? What if Jeff was right? Sarah? 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 Callous hands grabbed your upper arms, shaking you forcibly. The sensation made your head feel fainter. You couldn't think. You couldn't interpret anything. You felt numb. That ringing in your ears was getting louder. It was so unbearably loud. What the fuck, Sarah? You could hear him screaming. You could feel the panic in his movements, yet you couldn't answer him. Your eyelashes fluttered timidly as your eyes rolled to the back of your head, your vision hazing. Dark. It was so dark, and you were falling deeper into the blackness. Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! A gasp riveted through your chest as you jolted awake, your dilated orbs gleaming under the dim lighting as you frenziedly searched your surroundings. You were moving. The total vibration of a car engine infiltrated your eardrums. A car. You were in a car. That's why you were moving. The alarm bells were ringing in your mind, complete hysteria gripping you in its reins. Jeff? You uttered, your voice barely audible. Sharp fingertips immediately wrapped around your wrist, rubbing your skin soothingly. It was Jeff. The action was his way of reassuring you. Relief flooded over you as you stared at him through bleary eyes. He was swerving over the road, unable to keep a steady hand with the anger that ventilated through his veins. Don't scare me like that again, Jeff growled, his jaw clenching. How long was I? 2 hours. 2 fucking hours. Do you know how worried I was? He glanced over at you, brushing a hand over his head. Sweat was excreting from his pores. He was too warm. You leaned forward, preparing to turn the heaters off, but just as your fingers skimmed the switch, he grabbed a hold of your hand. Don't. It wasn't a question. It was a demand. He was not up for a debate. I'm not cold, Jeff. Don't bullshit me and say you're not cold. Your skin's fucking freezing. It stays on. You exhaled, agilely. There was no point in arguing with him. Once his mind was set on something, it was final. It was a mitigation that it was staying on. You were freezing, and he knew it. It was this part of Jeff that made you stay. The part of him that was concerned about you. The part of him that was willing to be uncomfortable for your well-being. The part of him that cared. This part of him came in rare doses. But when it did, you relished in it. You heaved your limbs up into a sitting position, forlornly staring out of the window. Despite the rain that splattered over the glass and the fact that it was dark out, you could make out the never-ending of the trees. Thank you. No answer. It wasn't like you needed one, though. The smile that twitched over his scarred lips was enough. I'll make sure they don't find you, he hissed. His comment was deranged, sounding psychotic. We're going far fucking away. A giggle escaped his mouth, reverberating the silence. Within the snap of a finger, he was having an episode. A few strands of his straggly black hair fell into his face as he fixated his glare on the road. He had no expression. He was inert. You rested a hand on his, your lips faltering into a frown. Who are they, Jeff? Just tell me the truth. The truth? He replied. He was too placid, too calm. The truth? Laughter permeated the silence as he tilted his head forward, his stomach exhaling hysterically. He peered over at you, his ominous orb seizing yours as he smirked. The truth is that you're fucking human. They hate your kind. You don't belong in our world. In my world. They want to take you away from me. They want to kill me? Jeff, you're not making any sense. You're human. Wrong. Your eyes widened at his answer, your lower lip quivering as you gasped. What? Jeff, what the heck are you saying? I wanted you to think that. Didn't you ever wonder why I didn't bleed that time that motherfucker stabbed me in the heart? Or wait, what about the time that you smashed a brick over my head? I didn't even so much as flinch. Or that... Stop the car, Jeff, you whispered dutifully. The last thing you wanted right now was to be anywhere near him. You couldn't quite grasp the fact that he deceived you. That he'd lied. Jeff was a notorious liar. You knew that. But betrayal? You didn't think he was capable of that. Memories devoured your head as you thought back to months ago when he told you about a deal he made with the creature in the forest. In exchange for his commitment to destroy the human race, he'd give him immortality, an eternity to fulfill his hobby, an eternity that you would eventually be gone from. He said he hadn't made the agreement, that he wanted to grow old with you and spend the remainder of his days by your side. That fairy tale had just crumbled before your eyes. No. Stop the car! He growled vociferously. No! You reached over, clasping a hold of the steering wheel. The move you were about to make was going to cost you a lot of your senses. It was stupid, reckless, but you needed to do something. You could feel Jeff fighting for control over the car, but he wasn't fast enough to stop you from yanking it sidewards. Curses fluttered from his mouth as the tire screeched against the tarmac and abraded over the grass. He couldn't seem to find the brake. That's what all his shouting was about. You inhaled a sharp breath, preparing yourself for the collision as the car headed straight towards a tree at full speed. The impact of it hitting the bark sent your body forward, the seatbelt barely securing you from going through this windscreen. You were glad you had been wearing it now. You stupid fucking bitch! You could have killed us! I thought you couldn't be killed, you lying asshole! You've lost your mind! You flung your hands up, exasperatedly, a laugh escaping from your parched throat. Those words spoke 1,000 truths. He thought you had lost your mind? Clearly, he hadn't taken a look in the mirror lately. I only learned from the best. You spat. Your voice was bitter, the venom laced in it piercing the atmosphere. It was rare you acted like this with him. Half the time you wouldn't dare. But this time it was different. You didn't hate him. It was hard to hate someone you loved, but you disliked him. You turned away from him, your jittery fingers struggling to unlock the door. The jerk had locked it. Open the door! Sarah. He was interrupted when your fist connected with his face. It wasn't hard enough to crank his head to the side, but it still hurt all the same. His lidless orbs bored into yours, his expression etching from a look of fury to confusion to amusement. He was laughing. It was loud, emphatic. He thought it was funny. He was mocking you. When the heck did you learn to hit like that? Since I realized I hated your guts. Hate me? How can you hate me when I'm in your veins?